Louisville Metro Police Department is now facing another lawsuit, this time from two of its own officers.
The two officers claim the department mishandled a sexual harassment complaint and then retaliated against a sergeant who stuck up for his fellow officer. Their attorney says it's more of the same from the department. WHS 11's Maj Harper is in our newsroom with the story. Mark?
Well, the story revolves around the way the Louisville Police Department handled a sexual harassment complaint filed against Major Jimmy Harper by his ex-wife, who's also a police officer. But attorney Tom Clay says the bigger issue is how the police department handles or mishandles all of these type complaints by punishing the alleged victims. Major Jimmy Harper has been the commander of the Metro Police Department's 6th Division. Yesterday, he got some good news. An internal investigation cleared him of a sexual harassment complaint filed against him by his ex-wife and fellow officer, Debbi Minniear.
There was one day in particular where she received 19 text messages. They became increasingly suggestive to the point where there were sexual suggestions, as well as that she transmit a photograph of herself in an inappropriate state of attire, or lack of any.
So the police department clearing Major Harper will not be the end of this story. Today, his ex-wife and her commander, Sergeant David Burns, filed a lawsuit against Harper and the police department.
That the female officer was subject to sexual harassment by her ex-husband, and that the sergeant to whom she reported these allegations was retaliated against, and his rights under the Whistleblower Act were violated.
The day after talking with Harper about the text messages, Sergeant Burns claims the major put a counseling statement in his personnel file, and he was temporarily transferred.
I think this may be another example of the department not handling this type of complaint properly, and where the people who raise these concerns are in fact made the victims when the department turns on them and reaches a finding such as it did in this case.
Just a few weeks ago, two other police officers settled a sexual harassment lawsuit against the city for $150,000. But Clay says the new lawsuit is not about the money.
These people did not want to have to litigate with their department, but they didn't want to be called the kind of things they were called in this investigation. They did not want this result reached when they came forward in good faith and believed they were making allegations that warranted serious consideration by the chief rather than basically nothing.
Now, a spokesman for Chief White refused to comment on this pending litigation, but police sources say they didn't have enough evidence to prove Major Jimmy Harper sent those sexually explicit text messages because Officer Minniear didn't save them on her cell phone. Harper has been disciplined before, 12 years ago, for going to a strip joint while he was on duty, and in 1992, Harper was fired, but got that discipline knocked down to a 29-day suspension. Documents we obtained through the Open Records Act do not include any record of what he did wrong back in 1992. In the newsroom, Mark Hebert, WHAS 11 News.